Okay, hear me out. This is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I believe ADHD can be improved without medication. Now, before anyone comes for me in the comments, this is not an anti medication video. I've seen firsthand how life changing medication can be for some people. I take non ADHD medication myself, and for many ADHDers, they're a necessary and empowering part of functioning well. But I also work with a lot of folks who don't want to take meds or who can't because of side effects, health reasons, or personal choice. And the truth is, there are things we can do that move the needle on your symptoms, or I prefer traits, especially when we're talking about emotion regulation, motivation, focus, and overwhelm. So today, I'm sharing a few of those strategies that have worked for me and my clients. They're not always easy, but they're powerful. Listen, if I could put one thing in a pill for ADHD, it would be exercise. In fact, I've been saying if I could get my therapy clients to do one thing for years, that silver bullet would be exercise. And I know, I get it. Telling someone with ADHD to just work out more can feel like a cruel joke. But this isn't about running marathons. This is about movement that regulates your brain and your nervous system. Exercise increases dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin, all neurochemicals that ADHDers we're often low on. Plus, it creates a beneficial baseline dopamine. It's essentially nature's Ritalin. Studies show exercise helps with focus, mood, emotion regulation, and even impulsivity. So, if you're not moving your body in some way most days, you're leaving ADHD gains on the table. My tip: make it fun and make it yours. Dance in your kitchen, walk while listening to your favorite podcast, do 5-minute yoga. Start where you are. Personally, I like Zumba and then I do strength training because I find that really beneficial as someone who's in perimenopause. All right, ADHD brains burn through fuel faster. We need consistent energy to sustain our focus, even at a decent level. And that means protein at every single meal. Skipping meals or loading up on sugar equals energy crash plus focus fog plus emotional chaos. Sound familiar? Protein helps stabilize blood sugar, keeps our energy steady, and supports dopamine production. It doesn't have to be fancy. Think a handful of nuts, eggs, Greek yogurt, lentils, tofu, or a quick smoothie with a scoop of protein. Also, hydration. Dehydration mimics ADHD traits. Keep a water bottle nearby and maybe set reminders if you're one of those people that forget water exists. Let's talk about sleep, or lack thereof. Sleep deprivation makes everything a gazillion times worse with ADHD. Think emotional reactivity, memory, and we already have a hard time with working memory, but lack of sleep makes it worse. Focus, right? Motivation, and even our ability to manage time. But ADHD brains often resist sleep. We get second winds at night. We hyperfocus at midnight or doom scroll ourselves into 3 a.m. So, what do? Start winding down at the same time most nights. Yes, even if routines are hard, because what's harder is not being on your game the next day because you didn't sleep. Personally, I set an alarm on my phone that says start winding down. Literally, that's what it says. Block blue light in the evening. That means your phone, that means your computer, your tablet, whatever you got. Use white noise or blackout curtains, or in my case, both. I've got blackout curtains and I use a giant box fan to drown out the noise, including my cat Eva, who likes to make a lot of noise at very early times in the morning. Then try magnesium or calming teas if that works for your body. Always talking to a doctor before you experiment with any kind of supplement. And if sleep is a struggle, start here with working on your sleep because you can be doing all of the other things, but without sleep, it's like trying to recharge your phone with a broken charger. Now let's get real for a second. Every time I bring up the word routine, someone tells me, I can't do routines. I get bored. I'm allergic to structure. And I get it. I get routines can feel challenging with ADHD. And here's what I've learned: we don't need rigid routines, we need flexible systems. ADHDers crave structure, but it has to feel adaptable, not suffocating. Think of routines like scaffolding, not prison. Give yourself options inside of the routine. Perhaps even make it more of a ritual than a routine. For example, you might, for your morning self love ritual, choose two of five things. And this could be things like walking, stretching, drinking coffee outside, journaling, meditating, listening to music. You could have an evening self love ritual where you pick three calming habits, which might be having a cup of herbal tea, reading a book, having a candle lit, light tidying, or meditating, or if you like baths, taking a bath. Don't aim for perfection around your rituals. Aim for rhythm, because that's what you're trying to do, is create a rhythm in your days that will help keep you on track. Even partial consistency helps your brain know what to expect. Now, ADHD isn't just about attention struggles. It's also about dysregulation. And you've heard me talk about this before, but it's emotional dysregulation, physical dysregulation, and neurological dysregulation. So, learning how to regulate your nervous system is next level support. This could mean breath work, cold showers, or if you're in Minnesota, jumping in a cold lake. Like, yes, really. Hello, huge dopamine boost. But again, remember, we want that baseline dopamine from our movement. This could be EFT tapping, right? If you've ever done tapping, you know what that is. It could be body scans or some kind of somatic release techniques. Daily time in nature. The more you teach your body to feel safe and you give yourself those cues of safety, the more you have access to focus, calm, and decision making. And if you've been listening to me for a while, I know you know why. Okay, now let's talk dopamine. Many of us are chasing dopamine hits through things like our phones, like scrolling, clicking, binging, and refreshing, and binging shows like on Netflix or Disney Plus, because that's where Glee is right now, or Hulu. And while that gives us quick hits, it also leads to burnout, anxiety, and dysregulation. And in my case, less sleep or worse sleep. So instead, try sustainable dopamine. Do something creative like writing, making music, painting, drawing. Add some novelty like drive a new route to work, try a new hobby. Get into deeper conversations with people. They're much more interesting than talking about the weather, even though we do that here in Minnesota. Let yourself laugh and celebrate your small wins. Y'all know I've got my daily win journal where I write down the wins that I did. You can bet this video goes in it because I was not motivated to do it. And like we already talked about, movement as many days in a week as you can. Of course, taking a rest day as needed, right? Just remember, ADHDers are wired for joy and interest. We need those things to thrive. So bring more of them in intentionally. As you step into these pieces of ADHD care, it's essential to hold this truth near. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not failing. Whether you take meds or not, your brain deserves support. And these strategies aren't about fixing you, and they're not actually like mind blowing, right? These strategies work, and they're about resourcing you. It's not always easy to implement this kind of stuff, especially when you're already feeling overwhelmed. So start small. Pick one thing from today's list and build from there. And if you want help with that, my 28-day nervous system regulation challenge is a great way to build regulation practices in small, doable steps. I'll link it below in the description. You've got this. And you're not doing this alone. We're all in it together. Big exhale. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.